Hey, it's Ed here. Today we're taking a look at technical analysis for the DXY or the US dollar currency index. I'll cover web analysis with Elliott Waves theory and provide multiple scenarios your price may take and explain why I prefer one count over another. Let's take a look at the main scenario here. We have again multiple scenarios for this, but again I still do like this at the moment the best. Again, starting on daily time frame and having this as a wave 1, 2 starting from the lows of January 2021. Since then we had again that wave 2 of primary and having a nested pattern here of 1-2s, which are again starting to unravel at these highs of 100 and around the $104 around the 28th of April, having these third, fourth structures here a lot, all the way coming up to these pretty recent lows of August 11th or 12th. And again, why am I even looking at this count like this? Is just because the RSI is giving us signals that, okay, we have a third of third, some kind of divergence here telling us, okay, something is ended. This is still the highest peak here, which would fit into the idea of having that as the third of third of third of third. That last circle does not show up, but yeah, it was the primary third that I circled. So again, that is making a lot of sense that that is going to have the most power behind it, because again we had a lot of nested patterns here, and that was the highest momentum structure here that is driving this whole thing upwards. And now we are just constantly getting these 3s and 4s lined up here until the whole structure is finished. But again, we have not really changed this higher time frame structure at all for quite some time. Again, this is going to be taking still quite long, according to this count at least. Now, before we dive into this part of the structure, we had a couple of different ideas here for this structure over here. We had the option of having this wave 4 here at these lows of around the 10th of August, or we had the chance of having this do something like this, taking out these current lows and having the wave 4 somewhere around here, but instead we did just go through it here. Now again, why can't we have it again still being a B wave, having this as an ABC or something? It's just because if we are looking at the retracements from the top of wave 4 to this possible end of A wave, we see that the 1.618 is here, and now we have fully hit the 1.618 and even went through it, making it impossible to have this as an A, B, and then C wave. So that extension can't exist, at least on Elliott Wave terms, so that is invalid now. So the only scenario that we see at the moment is that we have a 5-wave impulse here into a wave 1. And now that has clarified itself. And then we have some kind of structure in here into wave 2. Again, we were talking about this earlier. And what kind of structure has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 swings? It is a DXY. We have A, B, C into W, then 3-way structure into X, very small x, but again, I can't really explain it otherwise. And then again, 3-way structure here into that wave Y of that wave 2. And that is how I would be explaining that structure over there. Now, of course, we had the possibilities of being something else, and we had these divergences happening, giving us info that, okay, this move is about to end, something else is coming, and yeah, we did get a massive pump here. On smaller time frame of that wave 1, we had a divergence between the top of 3 and the end of 5, and then again, after such a pump, it is very typical to have this very sideways consolidation, which fits into the idea of this being a wave 2. So the next structure of this minute structure here, of this minute degree, somewhere up in there, is going to be a flat pattern or a triangle, most likely. Again, because we are seeing this as some kind of complex structure here, a DXY of some sorts. So a flat pattern or even a zigzag would fit very well. Since then, we have that wave 2, and then again another 5-way structure here. I'm not going to be going into detail into here. We can see that we had a high RSI here, getting some kind of divergence between the highs, and that should be fine enough, in my opinion. We could even have it like this. Not quite too interested in what we have here. Now, what are the closest extension targets that we have? Again, most likely looking at this here as a 1-2, then we would be looking at the 1.618 for that third wave. In here, I think that we have this as a 1-2. We are currently creating a highs here, so this is still no indication that this move is done. Once we are going to get that divergence here happening, and price is doing something like this, getting a divergence with this, then we can start looking into that possible wave 4, giving us a small rally somewhere in the crypto and stock markets before getting higher again. And that would be only the 5th after that, which would be the 3rd of this minute count, and only then we would be getting a 3rd of this minor or yellow count. Again, that target would be around $118, so there is quite a lot still to go for that target, another 4.5%. But of course, these are just targets for now, and we're going to be looking into this smaller time frame to project those targets a bit better. Now, what are we expecting here on RSI is, again, this here. If we are going here, let's see. Basically, we have very high RSI numbers here on the 1st, so it is very typical to have that erased. Most common, again, the 3rd wave is going to be having the most momentum. So basically, the highest structure that we are tracking now is the minor wave 3. And at the moment, we are on a 3rd of minute, which is again this degree that started here, and the 3rd of this structure. So what we are tracking is actually the 3rd of 3rd of 3rd, which means that again that should have the most momentum. Now, it doesn't mean it has the most momentum of this whole structure, because again that most momentum was here because it was the 3rd of 3rd of 3rd of 3rd, and not of the 5th here. Hopefully that makes sense. I know it does when you've gotten into that scenario at some point. But yeah, it should be remaining less than the original peaks, but this should be very high peak as well, I think. On 4 hour, we are not getting there yet. We still have the peak here of 3rd of the 1st here, so I would definitely expect this to be taken out, and at that point again we are seeing most likely the 3rd of this, of this here happening. But those are the expectations now for the next week and weeks ahead. There's still going to be a lot more counts to go, and I do expect this to be still remaining very bullish, this DXY, up into the near future. But if you made it this far into the video, I would appreciate the likes. Link to my free Discord server in the description below, and for now I thank you for watching and hope you have an amazing rest of your day. See you in the next video, bye bye.